Good afternoon. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is Real Estate Recess. It is Thursday, March 28th. I don't know where this month went, but here we are, knocking on April's door, Easter weekend. Thanks for joining me. I'm Jennifer Schurter. I'm your hostess with the mostest. And on today's agenda, first of all, before we get to that, I have a special guest I'm really excited to introduce to all of you. Hailing from Pasadena, California, I'm excited to bring my friend Alex Oscco to the stage. Say hello, Alex.
How's it going? Thanks so much for
Hey.
having me on here, Jennifer.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm glad that it worked out that you could join us. So, you're from Pasadena. Why don't you
Yes,
tell the people a little bit about who you are and and what's going on in your neck of the woods?
absolutely. I'm a real estate agent with Sotheby's International Realty, and what's not going on in this neck of the woods? We're in basically right outside of Los Angeles, California, where things are happening every single day. Pasadena just got recognized in Vogue magazine and the New York Times as one of the top 52 places in the world to go visit. And our mayor was actually like, "We can't settle for the world; we got to go for the universe." And so we
Perfect.
got a lot of great things happening right now in Pasadena, and can't complain. So it's a wonderful spot, and yeah, I'm excited to share more about it with you guys today.
Awesome. And for those that are up here in Oregon, football fans, especially fans of Oregon, University of Oregon football, that is the home of the Rose Bowl. So
Yep.
I know the University of Oregon has played the Rose Bowl before. I'm sure I should know this. I'm not really a Ducks fan per se. I'm sure the Beavers have, and I know it's not to get into like that territory, but um, yeah, so for those who are in the know, the sports world, Pasadena is the home of the Rose Bowl, so that's pretty cool.
It is. It is.
Yeah, yeah. So on our agenda today, Alex, we have some exciting things. You're gonna hear a little bit about what's going on here in Canby, and absolutely add your piece because what's happening here in Canby is it could be happening kind of anywhere in the country, but we have here in Canby the Canby Beer
Mhm.
Library. So this is a very anticipated new thing that's going to be opening here very soon. But is it actually opening? We keep hearing that yeah, it's going to be here, it's going to be opening, and so we're going to talk about that and tell the people a little bit about what that is. Are you a beer fan? Do you like beer?
I'm more of a wine fan, but I do know a fair bit about beer.
Okay, well, perfect. So I know enough to be dangerous, but not deadly about beer. So we'll just talk about it as people who, you and I both are more of a wine people. So, but we'll talk about it. It's an exciting thing that's coming. The other thing we're going to talk about is so
Yeah.
earlier in the month, I went to the Canby State of the City address where the mayor of Canby talked about what's going on in town. And one of the things he talked about was this
Mhm.
sports complex that's coming up, or that they're not coming up, but that they're talking about as an option or an opportunity here in Canby, and what that means. Is this the right move? Is really the question for a town like Canby, for the size of the town we are. So we'll take a look at that and we'll talk about it. And maybe you have some insights knowing that the Rose Bowl's in Pasadena, much bigger event, much bigger city, but what that does for the local economy there. And also, a bonus story is Trader Joe's has a new location coming to Clackamas County. And if you're like anybody, Trader Joe's, everybody loves Trader Joe's. Everybody wants
You
a
gotta
Trader Joe's
go.
in their
Trader
backyard.
Joe's is the best.
Yes, including myself. It's always anytime I'm near one, I stop and I spend a lot of money. But so we'll talk about that, and then we're going to talk about what all of you need to know about living in California versus living in Oregon. What it means if you're looking to move to one state or the other, whether you're going from Oregon to California or from Cali to here. What do you need to know? And maybe we could talk about which one's better. Do you think we could have a little debate about that, Alex?
We can have a debate about it.
Okay, sure. It's kind of like comparing an apple and an orange, but still a fruit, right?
It's still a fruit.
So, still a fruit. Okay, so here, let's start off with this Canby Beer Library. I'm going to share my screen here and show you this article. And this is from it's an industry publication, the New School Beer. So you could look up this article yourself, but here they're saying that this Canby Beer Library is one of their most anticipated new breweries and tap rooms coming in 2024. So a lot of people in the local area have probably been downtown here in Canby. They've seen all this work happening on what was the old Canby Public Library. And so OC Brewing bought this property back a few years ago amidst there's a lot of drama, talk online of people who were unhappy with how that was sold. And anyway, I think it's an exciting opportunity. I think that this is going to add a lot of color and vibrancy to our community. Do you all have things like this in California? You know, a tap house or a brewery with food carts around it, kind of a gathering place, a casual place for people to go, bring their noisy kids.
Well, absolutely. Like in Pasadena, we have tons of places like that. I mean, the amount of like indoor outdoor living here is incredible, and so we have a lot of breweries, a lot of wineries, a lot of dive bars where people can go hang out, and it actually does help out with the entire environment of an area. Just having more places for people to go and be, especially after coming from the pandemic where all of us were shut inside and we really couldn't do much.
Yeah.
Having more of these businesses come out where it's like, hey, we're here, come out, come hang out, and just have a space where you can experience being human again and practice our social skills all over again. I think
Right.
it's a great
What are
idea.
those?
I know, right? What are those?
Awkward's my middle name, Alex. Maybe it got worse over the pandemic. I don't know. But so which is cool. So OC Brewing has a brewery there in downtown Oregon City where they've developed something very much like this. It has food carts that are in there. It's got this really cool outdoor seating area with some fire pits and I love it being somebody with kids, and we're always looking for places to take the kids where it's kind of more casual, and having kids that don't like to be sitting in a booth in a restaurant with other people close by where they can't move around, and my daughter is very busy. So places like this are very attractive to me because we can go there, the kids can be with us, not that they're going to be total jerks, but they're just kids. And there's something for everybody in the food cart world there, and it's just a casual place. But so I'm excited about it. And so for those of you who are curious if this is actually going to be happening, and so it sounds like there were some things with this particular project that put it kind of on put the timeline for completion. It slowed everything down quite a bit. They had to do a traffic impact analysis. The city wanted them to do that, and so that added some additional time. So anytime you have to do things that are required by the city, it seems like that adds a lot of time sometimes to doing that. So they got their final approval in October, and it sounds like early summer of this year, we can, here in Canby, look forward to having the Canby Beer Library being open and ready for us to go see. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
I think I think that's a good move for the city. Like any kind of city that's able to add something that's going to attract more people to that city just grows the economy of the city. And
100%.
that doesn't just help out with the city. That also helps out with home prices as well. If you're bringing in more people to the city to take part of the economy that are paying your restaurants, that are paying the city more money, like paying your hotels, whatever it may be, that's
Yeah.
going to boost up the economy. That's going to boost up your home prices. That's going to help you out in every aspect possible.
Absolutely. And also, when people think about moving to a place, it's livability. What is there to do?
Mm-hmm.
Where can I go have a sit down dinner? Where am I going to buy my groceries? Is there a movie theater? What is there out in this area? And I think what's really great about Canby is our core. We have a really cute downtown area with shops and a coffee shop and a bread bakery. There's just really cute things, and there's some amazing things happening in downtown. And I think this is really just going to add to that, especially with all of the buzz about it. So I think it's wonderful. I can't wait for it to open. So more to come on that. Maybe you'll have to come up and visit, even though we're both not really beer people. I think it'd be fun to check out.
It would be fun to check out. I'm excited.
There's lots of wineries up here too, Alex. and I
Ooh.
know a lot more about those in our Oregon wine country. Our what is it, eight or 900 wineries or something now here in Oregon wine country. Um, so we're not quite to California numbers, but we're getting there.
I'm booking my plane ticket already.
Okay, sweet. We'll look forward to it. Okay, so now the next thing that's very specific here to Canby, like I said, about here earlier in the month, I went to the Canby Chamber of Commerce has their monthly luncheon,
Mhm.
and here this month was the Canby State of the City address that was the talk given by the mayor. And are you in? I mean, what are you involved in any organizations like that in Pasadena or network into anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm also a member of the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce. I'm also a Pasadena Rotarian and a
Oh, good
member of
for
the
you.
Pasadena University Club, and
Cool.
so very integrated in the community. It's great to just be a part of like the foundational elements of it, so you can see what's actually happening.
Yeah. And I really value this being in the chamber because one of the things that it does is it keeps me posted on things that are important to people who are coming here, whether they're going to move here, whether they're going to open a business, or whether they're just residents, and how these things are going to impact their home values. How is it going to impact what it's like to live in town? And as you know, as a real estate agent, those are the types of things people look to us to know and to be entrenched in our community and be have our finger on the pulse. So that's really awesome. And so this one thing, having the finger on the pulse for this, is this sports complex that has been talked about here, and it was brought up in the State of the City address. It is an opportunity that's being talked about quite a bit. So what this would be is, and if you want to check this out for yourself, this article is available on the Canby Herald. Um, the idea being we have this sports complex to host soccer tournaments or baseball or softball tournaments, things like that for the youth or the local communities to come to Canby, and that it would be a boon, a huge uptick for our local economy. The mayor brought up the city of Medford has something very similar. Medford being in Southern Oregon, Alex,
Mhm.
in case you didn't know that. It's several hours away from here, but they have something similar to this in Medford. And what they found in Medford is that having this sports complex and being a place that to hold these types of events was a huge draw for the community on an economic level. And I want to say it was millions upon millions of dollars that were added to that local economy in Medford. But the question is, Medford is quite a bit bigger. It is a much bigger city than Canby. Canby having 18,000 people and growing. Um, so
Mhm.
is this the right play? We have to find the property where this will make sense. We have to have the funds to be able to develop it and maintain it. And do we have the infrastructure locally to support something like this? So Pasadena is clearly a much larger city than Canby, but I don't know. What do you think about things like this? Do you think that this is a good move? Is this going to make Canby more livable from a complete outsider perspective? What do you think?
Well, it's any type of expansion into cities obviously going to be a good choice, but what you really have to look at is you have to look at what the kids are being taught in school at a base level. So one of the things that we like to focus on at the Rotary is we talk about what the schools are teaching and what the kids are kind of leaning towards. If sports is a big thing for the schools in Canby, then absolutely the sports complexes are going to be great because people are going to naturally have that competitive drive. But if you have a majority of the youth, studying arts or other music, whatever, something else, then it might not have as good of an effect as you'd want it to be.
Right.
But what I will say though is generally places that have sports complexes grow very quickly, very fast. If you just look at Inglewood in Los Angeles, right? We just got the SoFi. We have the SoFi Stadium over there, and that's where the Rams play. Well, what happened after the stadium came in? That whole place. I had people they bought homes like 10 years ago for, 100, $200,000, and now their homes are pushing $1 million.
Holy smokes. 10
So,
years, 10 years to have basically a $900,000 rough
oh yeah,
price. increase,
Oh
value
yeah,
increase. Holy smokes.
the the housing prices. I even have a client that I had. She got into a home last year in June, and she's been doing about $10,000 a month in equity
Wow.
consistently, which is if she keeps up with it, and she also does upgrades to her home, you're looking at $120,000 in that first year just in equity.
Gosh. So, and I think that the other thing here in Canby, one of the things and being a resident here myself, we talk about it and we feel it is the lack of space for the youth sports programs. We do have a pretty good, robust youth sports program for football and lacrosse, softball, baseball, soccer,
Mhm.
all of those outside sports, and a lack of fields for practice or for games. And it's kind of this great shuffle having to deal with, the school district, which has been very open to obviously supporting and allowing the use of their space, but there's not a lot of city owned space for these sports programs to be able to use before those kids get into the school sports levels when they hit
Mhm.
high school and stuff. So this would definitely fill a need. And I personally think it would be an amazing opportunity. I think it adds to the livability, but I think there's a long ways to go, because if this is going to draw uh, hundreds of people to town, that's fantastic. But do we have the road infrastructure? Do we have the parking? Do we have the resources necessary to support? So I think it's awesome, and I look forward to seeing where this conversation goes. And I love the idea of the business going to our shops and restaurants and gas stations and businesses locally. But and I know that the city's accounting for all of those types of things and the challenges of growth. There's definitely a lot of challenges. Am I right?
Yeah, and that's one interesting thing. We have all these great things that are coming up and can be, but at the same time, you have individuals that are like, "Well, I'm used to the way Canby's always been. Like, why do we have to change?"
Right.
And you also have to think about it from this perspective too. Like, let's say you were in an area, maybe you're a renter, right? And you're paying rent, and all of a sudden the market changes, and
Mm-hmm.
that area grows and grows and grows, and over the next 2 years, your rent increases a ton from what you were used to, and it forces you out of the area.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
those are a lot of like those bigger issues that the local governments are going to have to take a look at. California does their best to to provide for people who are going through those gentrified areas. But it's a hard thing. Not everybody loves the change, and even though
Mm-hmm.
you do see the growth and you do see the economy rising, you still have to remember about from the other side. It's like, hey, well, from an affordability standpoint, how can we help those individuals still be able to afford to live here and not force them out of the area?
Oh, absolutely. And there is a lot of that. Canby being the small town it's always been, and the growth of the Portland metro and people moving out from Portland. Since the
Mhm.
pandemic, we've seen a lot of that happen. A lot of people are taking a look at the suburbs or areas outside of Portland with just the changes in what's going on in Portland. I mean, it's kind of what is that? What do they say? The elephant in the room, or the 10,000 pound gorilla, whatever, in the
Yeah.
room. That Portland's had some challenges, and people who live there, there's some folks that are fed up, and they're moving into, whether they're going to other states or they're moving out of Portland or Multnomah County into outlying areas. We
Mhm.
we do we're seeing that, and we're also seeing a flight to quality of life where I don't have to drive to the office every single day. Maybe it's a couple days a week or one day a week or ever. And I can work remotely and live where I want to, be around the types of places I want to be, have more property, have more breathing room, whatever that looks like, and be able to actually have the life that I would like to have. And so we're definitely seeing a lot of that with that movement out here. And it's been for the old guard here in town, having lived here for 17 years, and having grown up locally, there's always that push and pull with people who want it to stay the same and don't want to lose that feel in that small town nature that we've always had, but while also embracing the growth, and that it's change and growth are just kind of part of what happens in life, and it's kind of inevitable at some point. It's just how
It's
do you
true.
deal
Yeah.
and plan for it fairly, like you say, to accommodate everybody, make sure everybody has an opportunity that they want, whether it's jobs and housing that's affordable and helps people in the community.
Yeah,
So, yeah. So the sports complex. Let's see what happens. We'll see where it goes. I'll look forward to
I'm excited.
updates. I know. I'll look forward to when you come visit. Maybe that'll be done.
Yep.
Probably not. That's
I'm
probably not going to
I'm
be
gonna do like a whole tour of like Canby.
done. Okay.
I'll have to make a whole video about
Perfect.
it.
Yeah. Awesome. If you're not going to move to Pasadena, move to Canby. We know people to help you.
We do.
We do. So, okay, our next story. So, Trader Joe's. You you love Trader Joe's as much as I do,
Oh,
Alex?
I love Trader Joe's. So I know you're gonna go into the story, but I do have to say that Pasadena is the home of the first Trader Joe's, and it's just this little tiny shop with a little
Oh.
tiny parking lot, and it's always packed. I'm pretty sure they have the most car accidents in a parking lot than any other parking lot because it's still the same. It fits like maybe like 10 cars in there, and you're like backed into each other. But it's a cute spot. We actually have two Trader Joe's in Pasadena, just to just so that they can keep the original one basically running the way it is and then use the other one as like the bigger store. So I'm so excited for you guys because I heard that you guys are actually getting into this.
So there's several Trader Joe's around. And from where I'm at, there are two that are kind of easy for me to get to. Like I could go to off Cruiseway, Lake Oswego area, which is
Hmm.
north and on that western side of the kind of where I would go I-5. But I could also go to 82nd Avenue in Clackamas to that one near Clackamas Town Center. And it's probably 6 to 1/2 dozen of the other to get there. But I tend to be on the west side more, so I tend to go to
Yeah.
that one. But I love it. And my favorite things there are like the frozen meals because with having kids and activities, it's like half the time I don't know what to make and I don't want to go out to eat again. So I will spend like $300 on frozen things that I can just heat up. The orange chicken and fried rice that they have,
You are
that's
talking
our
my
favorite.
language.
That
So good.
Trader Joe's orange chicken, it's hard to beat it. But so this is what's exciting. So Trader Joe's is opening another Clackamas County location, and I know that there's people in Wilsonville and Oregon City have been on the Trader Joe's forum. There's like something where you can submit a location request, like where do you want us to put another store, and I'm always like Wilsonville, that'd be so awesome. Oregon City would be great because those are just that much closer.
Hmm.
So Clackamas County is going to be getting the new store is going to be in Oak Grove, so Milwaukee Gladstone area, and why this is good news for people in Milwaukee. So a couple weeks ago we talked about New Seasons Market. Do you have New Seasons down in Pasadena, or have you heard of it?
I haven't heard of New Seasons now.
Okay, so I will just it's a certified B Corp grocer, and it started up here in the Portland area,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like a Whole Foods, but I would say a little less pretentious than what Whole Foods used to be before Amazon took it over. But I think
Right.
it's probably one of my favorite grocery stores. They have the best bakery, their deli, second to none. You can get all your naturopathic, all your natural supplements, your vitamins and herbs and stuff. And their produce department is beautiful. Everything you buy there is perfect. Um, so New Seasons recently opened their latest location was also in Milwaukee. So stores like Trader Joe's, like Whole Foods, there's that article that said that if there's a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's type store nearby, you there's a good chance your area is probably fairly affluent. So if we needed any other indication other than you know, that New Seasons was there for Milwaukee Oak Grove area, you could consider yourself to be in an affluent area. So that's pretty exciting. Um, so yeah, Trader Joe's, that's coming to you, Milwaukee area, Gladstone, Oak Grove. So exciting news.
Congratulations. Trader Joe's is
Yeah,
great.
can't wait. Cannot wait. So, okay. Well, that was all of our news stories. So, Alex, we can
Yes.
talk a little bit about California and Oregon and what it's like. So, let's say that I have somebody up here in Oregon that's like,
Uh-huh.
we want to move to California.
Hmm.
What what do I need to know? What are the key things for somebody? Now, we're just talking California in general, not necessarily Pasadena.
Right.
What are some things that somebody who's coming from another state would need to know before they come to California?
Oof. California is such a large place, first of all. So the first thing you need to know is which part of California. If you're going to go to Northern California, Southern California, what area you really need to be in. Um, Obviously, like you have the tech industry over in San Francisco, and then wine country above that, much more affordable housing north of Sacramento area, and then things get pricier in San Francisco, and then also pretty pricey in Los Angeles and pretty pricey in San Diego area. Um, in all honesty, it really just depends on lifestyle. If you're from Oregon and you're wanting to live specifically in Los Angeles, I actually I know all the different neighborhoods over here. Pasadena is one of those places where you still kind of have that not small town vibe, but the fact that you get to know every single person there. There's a lot of Pasadena fans that will stay here for a long time. They're not coming and going as much. And so you can get that community feel, which is cool. We have the Rose Bowl. There's a lot of deep history here. And they also have a historical heritage, which preserves a lot of the homes that have been built here. So there's tons of history, very rich history to this area that can be very attractive for people who are coming from other out of state or smaller cities that are more used to that. But yeah, if you want a complete change up and you're going for like the hustle and bustle, middle of San Francisco, complete change. It's a huge city. LA, like going onto the west side of LA with the fam and glam over there, where all the fun TV shows are shot, and then San Diego is probably more of like a just more of like a beach vibe. You're kind of over there. There's actual surfer dudes. If you ever saw like Finding Nemo and you remember Crush the
Yes.
Turtle and everything like that, like
Yes.
gnarly, bro. Like if you go down past Laguna Beach, you're going down there, they actually do talk like that. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. And it is. California is a huge state. And so that's totally fair to say, well, geographically, what are you looking for? Is it you just want to be in California, or is there something bringing you if you're going, sounds like if you're going to the far northern reaches of California, you might find more affordable options.
Mhm.
Like in Pasadena, what is your average or median price point for properties there that you're seeing right now?
In February, we had it like went up again, and so we're just under 1.5 million for our median price point.
Okay. And what does that median price point
And
look like in terms of a house? Is it like a 3 bed, 2 bath, kind of your average, or is it something a little different than that?
like when we're talking about a house, and I feel like there's a stereotype behind like what you say when you talk about a house. Um, a normal sized house is probably going to be between 1.5 to $2 million over here in
Mhm.
California. Um, and then, so the difference in price is probably going to be a lot. So you have to be prepared for that, what
Mhm.
your money's going to get you over here might not go as far, but you do get a lot of, I guess, city amenities, as in the place is beautiful to live in. You just might need to sacrifice some space. So yeah, I would say between 1.5 to 2 million. And if you want something that's really nice, you're looking between like 2 and 3.
Wow. That's quite a bit different. So here in Portland, looking at if I go by the MLS, the recent numbers that they released, and these are from February. So our average price in the Portland, Oregon metro region was around $576,000.
I'll
So
move over there.
such a difference, such a difference. But that's several counties. So like I want to say it's Yamhill, Marion, maybe not Marion, Yamhill, Clackamas, Multnomah, and Washington. So there's a
Mhm.
handful of counties that account for that. And so out in some of those outerlying areas, you have more affordable options. And then it also factors in the more affluent communities like Lake Oswego, Westland, and Happy Valley, and
Yeah.
even parts of Portland that tend to have a higher, like that neighborhood specific would have a much higher median price point. Because you talk Lake Oswego, yeah, your median price point in Lake Oswego is going to be in the millions, in the 1 point something million range.
Yeah.
That's like that's Portland area is very affluent, more affluent community. So if you're going from Lake Oswego to Pasadena, it may not be such a shock. Selling a home there and going to Pasadena, the price points may not be so scary or so just that price tag, price shock
Yeah.
that you might see. But yeah, so up here, I mean, it like you say, that average size home. And of course, as you know, it varies so much, even in the Portland metro of the different cities and towns.
Hmm.
Like in Canby, you might be looking at a median price point of around 650. Um, but you go again to Lake Oswego, it's just so different. It's really interesting to see what that what that shakes out to be.
It really does, because like 650 over here may get you a studio condo. Um, and that's just the area. But that's not to say that there aren't areas that do have more favorable price points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not saying that anyone should do this, but there is an area here called Shafter, Bakersfield, California, that
Mm-hmm.
still has price points between like 300,000 and 500,000 for a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house. But these are like very, very, very small towns, like almost isolated. Like, they just got their first gym. The reason why I know is my aunt lives over in Shafter, and she always says like, "Oh, come over, move over here. We can you can get like 3 houses." And I was like, "Not yet,"
Yeah, they
but
just
it's
when you have a Planet Fitness, maybe you've arrived.
maybe, yeah. They just got Taco Bell and Starbucks,
Oh, okay.
and
See,
so those
it's
lines are
happening.
super long. It's
It's
happening,
happening.
and I
Once
heard like
Starbucks is there, you know it's happening. And it's not the grocery store Starbucks, it's the legit
it's
standalone
a
Starbucks, like on its own Starbucks. Yeah.
it's a standalone Starbucks, and I heard just a couple of months ago they just got their first electric car chargers. So
Okay. Yeah.
it's slowly
There
creeping
you
up
go.
there.
It happens. It's happening everywhere. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't even know that Canby has electric car chargers. I mean, I'm sure people have them in their house or maybe a gas
Yeah.
station has something, but as far as like this parking spot is for EV only, I don't know that I've seen that here. So, very interesting.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So what else? So, like figuring out geography, what
Hmm.
else does somebody need to know? What about when they move to Pasadena? What can they anticipate when they come if they're looking at an area like Pasadena? What is there what's there to do? What is there
Yeah.
nearby? All
Yeah.
that
So that
jazz.
I'm a big fan of Pasadena, California, and I'll give you guys like a scope of the things that you can do. So we're home of one of the Langham hotels. I don't know if you've heard of the Langham hotels. There's just a few in the world. There are these really, really nice hotels, beautiful afternoon tea. And I
Ooh.
wasn't a tea person until I went there, and after that, I love getting afternoon tea with my girlfriend over there. It's
This
just
is
they have live music
yeah,
with the piano player. It's very upscale.
that's so
It
fun.
feels cool. It feels like
Yeah.
you're doing something awesome. You're like, oh, I'm going to a special event over here, and it really is.
Yeah.
Nearby that, they have the Huntington Gardens, which is this massive garden of different types of plants. They even have like a desert section. They'll have a Chinese plant section. They'll have a Japanese section. All these different areas that you can go to and roam around. They also have a tea room in there as well.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
and it's one of the larger attractions that we have in the area, and it's settled right near the more affluent area. So these are going to be like your 10 to $15 million homes is right around there. But the anyone can go to the Huntington Gardens. You just got to get a ticket, and then I don't think it's too expensive either. It's a fun place to go, just walk around and enjoy, and they have membership options. Of course, we have the Rose Bowl. We're actually home to the cheeseburger. Fun fact.
Home to like the cheeseburger was invented in Pasadena?
Yeah, the cheeseburger
What?
was invented in Pasadena 100 years
No
ago.
way. That's
Yeah, in
amazing.
1923, the cheeseburger, Pasadena, California.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
That's too funny.
yeah, we have like great wine over here. There's no like, we don't have like any like vineyards or anything. It's just a lot of great wine places to go drink wine. Lots of nice bars. We have two downtowns. Just it's becoming like more recently, and kind of like can be in a bit. We've been getting more and more affluent grocery stores too. So Trader Joe's is based out of California. We have the original Trader Joe's here, but we just got what's called an Erewhon, and this is if you guys
Oh,
are
I've heard of
following the
Erewhon.
Erewhon trends. They
Is
sell
this
these
like the home
$20
of the
smoothies.
Okay, I was gonna say, is this the home of like the $15 apple or something like that? That or the
Yeah,
yeah.
But I trust me, when you walk in there, there is not an apple outside that is rotten, that has a little wrinkle. They all look like they've been buffed, shined, cleaned like 3 times over, and you can get it.
Wow.
And they are the juiciest, the sweetest, the best produce that I've ever tasted. So it is
Wow.
worth getting. It is worth the price. It's certified organic, and it's a great store. And yeah, Pasadena is just growing. It's been proving to be a high level affluent area to go to, and I highly recommend moving over here if you have the ability to, even if it's downsizing a little bit. It's still worth it because the people that you meet, that'll just help your own personal growth up and up and
That's
up.
cool. And it's so because how big is Pasadena as far as population is concerned?
Population size, we've been growing so. Let me look this up for you guys right now.
Yeah,
I don't
because
know
I'm
this off the top of my
curious.
head. Okay, Pasadena population.
Yeah, because what you're talking about, I think, is really interesting. And what I grew up on a farm, and I'm a small town. I've always been a small town girl. So that sounds like the Journey song. That almost needs to play. I wish that could pop up right now. That'd be perfect. But it's to me that's always been my comfort zone. And so, the idea of moving to something a bigger city in like Pasadena, it sounds like LA, anything California, and completely probably just ignorant in a sense of saying, well, everything down there is just huge and people everywhere and crowded. But it's really interesting to hear you say that even with the population, whatever it is, did you find it, the
Yeah,
population?
it's like 130 to 140,000.
Oh, see, that's not even as big as I would have thought. So,
Yeah.
but even that's a significant sized city. And but to have that feeling of community and connectedness to other people, so that's a quality of life marker, like you say, like being connected to groups and people who care, and you get to know people and have that sense of belonging, I think is really important even for any city of that size. I think that's incredible. It's a really
Yeah,
really awesome thing.
it's definitely one of those areas where if you integrate yourself with the community, and what I mean by integrate, because I don't want someone to come here and just be like, how do I integrate myself with the community? Go to the bars, go to the local gym, go to the Rotary Club, join the Chamber of Commerce, whatever that might be. Go out there and meet people, and you'll start to
Yeah.
see the same people over and over again in all of these different spots. And when you get that, that's the community there. That community is super strong. They love Pasadena. They want to care about you. They want to take care of you. And so that's where you get that feeling of like, okay, well, I can still have a neighbor, and I can know that that neighbor's going to be a fun person to talk to, and it's not going to be that standoffish, like keeping up with the Jones type of
Mm-hmm.
mentality.
Yeah. And it's true that you have to be intentional with it no matter where you go, whether you come to Canby or Pasadena,
Yeah.
small town or larger city. You have to be intentional. People just aren't going to come to you. You have to go out and find your tribe, so to speak. Go find your people that you're going to connect with, and build those
Mhm.
relationships, which is hard. It's hard to do in a new place. Um,
Yes, it is.
yeah. So what's the weather like? That's the big question. Because here in
Ooh.
Oregon, I mean, anybody watching right now from Oregon, leave us a comment. Let us know your Oregon what the weather's like. But tell us about Pasadena weather so we can all sit here and daydream.
So Pasadena is even cooler than your beachfront weather, because on the beachfront you can still get that kind of gloomy, cloudy weather once in a while. It's not always perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Pasadena is generally 70 degrees and sunny most of the year. And then if there's like
Nice.
hail, like in 3 cities over, it's usually like light rain in Pasadena. Remember when that big kind of everyone thought a hurricane was going to hit
Yeah.
California?
Yeah.
And everyone got scared. Well, we had a little bit of drizzle, and then it was good. The eye of the storm was over Dodger Stadium. Um, I like to say this: Pasadena has like its own dedicated freeway, because it finishes in Pasadena, goes straight
Oh
into
yeah.
downtown LA. But yeah, the eye of that storm was right over Dodger Stadium, so Dodger Stadium got all the juice over there. But yeah, we were fine. It was just a little rainstorm, and then everything was normal the next day. So
Interesting.
weather is
Yeah.
great for
Well,
running and great for enjoying.
that's quite a stark difference to hear. So right now, so it's spring, so it's March in Oregon, and this is the season where I would say that spring and winter are fighting, and they can't
Mhm.
decide who's gonna like they're just fighting. So yesterday, to give you an idea, it was like sun patch, um, dark iron gray cloud, sudden windstorm that lasted about 5 minutes, hail, hard rain, drizzle, sun patch. And it's like this weird pattern that comes through this time of year as it's trying to warm up, but it's like 50 degrees outside,
Yeah.
and so it's chilly, but it's yeah. So we're coming out of our trying to come out of our the winter that lasts 18 months. It feels like every year. If
But
you're
the
in
nice
Oregon,
thing
you know
though
what I
is
mean.
that you guys have like really green summers and just
Yeah.
beautiful nature over there, which we're pretty jealous of over here because we don't really have the larger pockets of nature out here. It's just keeps on going with more people and people and people until you get to like maybe the middle of California.
Yeah. Right. That green. And so Dolly Parton, being a Dolly Parton fan, I've got her book here. Um, Dolly Parton fan here. She has this saying that I see around, attributed to her perhaps, but it says if you want a rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. And
Hmm.
so I think of our summers here in Oregon as the rainbow, like the beautiful part, but you've got to put up with what gives us that beautiful summer. So folks who come here in the summer, they fall in love with Oregon. It's green and it's beautiful and the weather is fantastic. We have warm summers, it's mostly dry, and then they get to about November and on, and it just starts to really deteriorate and become gray and drizzly and rainy and stormy, and then it's like you need to buy your blue light, your what is that thing called, like the light that keeps you from getting seasonal depression, or
Oh yeah,
everybody here.
the
Yeah, everybody. So if you're going to move from California to Oregon, let's just say maybe you're relocating,
yeah.
um, I would suggest in about February, plan a trip to a warmer place. Arizona, California. A lot of people here go to Hawaii or Palm Springs in
Yeah.
about February, March, as that kind of break in the gray, and it helps. And even some people go to Central Oregon because just over the mountain, you have an area where you get most of the year is sunny. It might be cold, but it won't be necessarily cloudy. So
Hmm.
folks taking a chance to just see sunlight and blue sky. It's pretty much a necessity when you live in
That's
Oregon.
awesome.
At least in the valley, here in the Willamette Valley. It's what I always tell people when they're looking to move here from a sunnier place. So,
But
yeah,
I'm sure those who like love the rain are just ecstatic about it.
it's a moody
They love
place.
that.
The winters are moody, and if you love a if you're an introvert, you like to just sit by a window with a cup of tea and read a book and just sit there and feel cozy, it's great for that. It is a cozy climate in the winter. You want to be cozy in your house by the fire. So, yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So Alex, where can people find you if they want to follow
Yes.
you, want to check out what's going on in Pasadena? Where can they learn more about what you have going on?
Yeah, so I'm on social media everywhere. So Alex period Osco, that's OSCCO, just how it's spelled up here, on Instagram, or you can look me up under Alexander Osco on YouTube. I actually had a previous channel that's Alex Osco. It's there where I was doing some fitness stuff in the past. Don't go there. Go to the one that says Alexander Osco, and then same thing for my website, alexosco.com. If you want to get in contact with me, um, more than happy to chat with you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us for Real Estate Recess. And hey, everyone out there, again, I'm Jennifer Scherter. And if you're looking to make a move around the Portland suburbs, maybe you want to head out here to Clackamas County or the North Willamette Valley, I hope you'll connect with me. And if not, hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of when I'm going live or when I have new videos coming out. And it would be my pleasure to be your guide to all things here in Clackamas County in the North Willamette Valley. We'll see y'all next week.
Hey, thanks.